The Dark Realm is a difficult place to live. Plants grow weakly and twisted in the lack of sunlight. Mercenary work and banditry are rife, as it pays more than basic farming or hunting. The realm at large is ruled over from the great city of Guardia, an overpopulated, sinful place ruled over by a baleful king that we haven't seen in years. There is an elven kingdom to the south, ruled by the sequestered shadow elves, a dwarven kingdom lost to the mountains of the west, and a tiefling kingdom among the volcanic rock of the islands in the north. Great patches of our land are poisoned and deserted. There are tribal villages, beasts, goblins, and orc warbands, of course, but we're trapped here. The mists are a mystery. Most who enter them never return. Those that do are changed in such a way that they are unrecognizable or utterly insane. Nothing comes out of the mist, but it surrounds us, calls out, poisons, frightens. Couple that with the almost endless darkness, and the Dark Realm is a very difficult place to live.
Will, the mud of the road sucks at the bottom of your boots. It has been raining for a few days now, which is an ironic term considering that there's been nothing but darkness for 2 weeks. Your shield is probably starting to feel quite heavy on your back, but you can see the distant lights of a town up ahead. There's supposed to be a pretty decent tavern in Kull, and it is at this moment that your foot strikes something and you stumble a little. There is a large piece of upturned ground right in the center of this muddy path. What do you do?
I'm gonna give it a little nudge with my other foot. What's this thing? And why is it in the road?
Give me a wisdom saving throw, please. And 22, of course. There is a skeletal hand that bursts up and swipes at your leg. It starts spinning around before half of its body starts to climb slowly out of the ground. As you're looking down at this thing, moving very slowly, not really towards you, but not necessarily aimlessly, you can see that it is not entirely devoid of skin. There are flaps of necrotic pale skin still clinging to the bone in places, and then a stench hits the air. It's very sour and overwhelming. You feel the sense of somebody casting a spell, weaving a spell on the air around you. You shake off the sensation as you feel it seep into your bones like a strange poison, and you hear a voice coming from maybe to your left, maybe to your right, an old man that says, "Why are you following me, soldier?"
Who are you? I don't think I'm following you.
I suggest you do not follow me any longer.
Can I, before responding, I would like to, can I use Divine Sense?
You can. Would you like to
do that immediately?
Explain what your divine sense does, and also
Sure.
how you cast it, what is happening, what you're thinking or seeing?
Sure. Divine Sense. The presence of strong evil registers on your senses like a noxious odor, and powerful good rings like heavenly music in your ear. Until the end of my turn, I can detect celestials, fiends, and undeads within 60 feet. And I'll know what type they are, but not their specific identities. And there's not really an external effect to this other than maybe a faint glow behind the eyes a little bit. But other than that, it's a very low-key spell. And I'm just looking around to see if there's more to it than just his hand, or if that's the only thing here.
Your divine sense is cast, and you sense the presence of multiple undead beings very nearby to where you are. You can... How you sense them, I don't know, but you can sense that they're around you, that there is one directly below you where your foot is, and then there are 4 more. 2 to your left, 2 to your right, somewhat behind you. There is not a sense of anything other than these undead, and as you begin to cast this and you react, there is the sound of these other creatures pulling themselves from the ground. You see the other skeletons begin to pull themselves from the ground. The voice speaks to you again, but it sounds much further away. You're pretty sure now that it's to your north. You hear the relatively older man say, "You should die with honor, not as a dog to bandits and the wretched." And I will need you to roll me initiative, please, as I bring you over to our map. All you need to do is click on your token and hit the initiative.
I'm trying to find my... Oh, there we are.
Okay,
Okay,
should be,
sorry.
yeah,
The map
I can
was...
drag you in.
Right, it's fine. It was zoomed way out for some reason.
Wow. A 2.
Getting my highs and lows out of the way right away.
Yes, you are. 6. 5 skeletons around you. A 6th presence somewhere to your north. These skeletons begin pulling themselves from the ground. You can see that they have, some of them have rudimentary weapons. The others just seem to have their hands and fists. What do you do? What is your first reaction? The one at the bottom of your feet is half out of the ground, is swiping at your feet.
Is it? It's still halfway embedded in the ground, right?
Yep.
Okay. I am going to... You know, I'm a soldier, and I've been in a number of battles, but I don't think I've ever actually run into an undead before. And I feel like discretion is the better part of valor. Plus, like, I know there's a guy north of me, so I'm going to dash as far north as I can, away from these things and towards where I think that other presence was. So
okay.
I will go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, 15, 20. So I will end up right here. Yes, I will go right there.
This is where we switch scenes. As you run and dash away from these skeletons, we see another figure walking along the same path. Fix, you are walking along your path. Some time ago, you will have seen that there is a lone traveling soldier ahead of you. Choosing to keep your distance for a while until you can figure out who they are, you notice that they suddenly stop. Looking down at their feet, you see something happening with the ground. This person reacts, begins maybe speaking to themselves in the distance. Roll me a perception check. A 5. You can't see who they're speaking to. There's a figure that you can see that appears to their north, to their left. A figure on the hill that begins kind of weaving some sort of spell. You can make out that they're holding a spell book. They begin to weave a spell, and then these skeletons begin to rise up around this man, and he starts to run towards the north. What do you do?
I immediately run after him.
Running after him as well. We see this tiefling suddenly run towards the north, following Will. Fire and Murlin. You have been walking for about a week now, together. There is a commotion on the path up ahead. Both of you roll me perception checks.
Oof, not so good.
Merlin
That's a 10
is
for me.
talking to himself and maybe not as aware as quickly as you are. Fire, your senses have been honed in a way that allow you to immediately recognize danger or something, a disturbance happening nearby. Maybe running to one side of the road, maybe taking a slightly higher level of ground. All of a sudden, Merlin, you see your partner run and jump onto a rock or a boulder. Fire, you can make out ahead of you that there is a scuffle of sorts. There are undead that seem to be popping up out of the ground and shambling north. You can see two people fleeing the area, running directly north. Directly north of you, there's very little, about 20 minutes north of this, and at a casual stroll, directly north of this area, is where this landmass hits the edge of the mist. And all of you will be very aware of the fact that the mist is this all-encompassing, dangerous fog that surrounds the area of the realm that you're in. Going into it is akin to suicide. It's crazy. People don't do it. Most people, even if they do, never return. There is a huge chance that you're going to come out insane if you even make it out. These people are running north suddenly, these two figures that you can make out, running from these skeletons. What do you two do?
I grab Murlin and try to hide.
Wow, okay.
Shh.
Wow.
Get low and be quiet. I mean it this time. Quiet.
Right. I keep shut. I keep my mouth shut.
I just slowly point to try and show Murlin what's going on, or at least that there's a danger ahead.
Merlin, you can probably make out some shambling figures, the undead. Very rare to see the undead anywhere outside of the edge of the mist. But you would most certainly be able to tell that these are skeletons, recent undead, maybe.
What do we do? We can't just leave them.
We can. I'm not paid to protect them. I'm paid to protect you.
Okay, that's fair. But what if they can help us?
I can help you.
Well, not to doubt your skills, Fire. It's just the mist. If you and me go in there, well, it's more of a party than skeleton too.
Did you hire them?
No, I did not. And you make a fair argument. Nothing ever comes for free.
Let me do my job. My job
So
is to keep you safe.
Are we just gonna watch them die?
You can look away.
I turn my head, but I'm looking from my peripheral vision.
You can make out that these shambling figures, 3 of them begin moving towards the north. 3 of them, or 2 of them, kind of remain on the road area. They sort of move in strange, slow circles as if they have no direction. They're moving very slowly. The 2 figures that have run off are moving far too quickly. They're probably beyond even your vision now, since it is nighttime.
I can go and take them out. Or we can try to sneak around.
Wait, is that excluding our skeleton friends too? Are you gonna take the other 2 out?
Any danger to you, I eliminate.
Okay, well, if you need backup, I got a bunch of spells in my book.
I'll let you know.
You just let me know.
You stay here and stay down and stay quiet.
Right. I'll
And
stay
I will-
put. Stay quiet. I'm not liking this. But I
Quiet.
will try and stay put. I sit down and immediately start cradling myself to comfort myself.
I'll try to figure out if they're within the range of my bow, my short bow.
What is the range of your short bow? Let's find out. The range of a short bow is 80 feet.
Yeah.
You can make shots at up to 320 feet with disadvantage.
Yeah, disadvantage.
Do you move within the 80 feet range?
Yeah, I would sneak. Try to sneak.
I'd say you can probably do that. I don't think you need to roll me a stealth check because you're not far out from where that is.
Mm-hmm.
Roll me 2 attack rolls. A 26 and a 9. Roll me the damage on the first one. That is a 6. There is an arrow that very silently fires, and you hear as it cracks into the skull of one of these skeletons. The head is removed. You see it go rolling off into the fog and the darkness, but the body continues to walk around. The second skeleton kind of moves its head awkwardly towards the area and scans where you are, but then continues to slowly move around in circles as the second arrow flies overhead.
I will take just a second to listen out and make sure that Murlin's not rambling loudly.
Cripes, that was a shot. I don't really deal well with high amounts of pressure here. I just talk to animals,
I just put a finger up and I ready my bow again and take another shot at the one that still has a head.
Yeah. Back to the 2 figures running north. Will, as you're moving, roll me a perception check. A 7. And then, so you don't see the strange figure that you were running after. You do, Fix, are you trying to remain quiet in any way?
No.
Or are you just running after this person?
No, I'm running after them.
You'll probably hear, though, that there is somebody running up behind you. When
I hear her, or she hears someone behind her?
you hear her,
Okay.
and Fix, as you run up on this fellow, and Will, as you turn, who do we see? If you could give me a brief description of what we're looking at, as Will turns to see Fix, and then Fix turns to see Will, starting with Will.
Sure, yeah. I will turn around and kind of alarmed at first because I'm thinking I'm being chased by one of the skeleton things. So he's actually turns around with weapon brandished, like ready to smack her because he's up until now thought he was alone and being chased by undeads, and then kind of, you're not a skeleton. I'm dressed up in chainmail. I look like I came to fight somebody, very clearly. Sword and shield have the Guardian Army emblem on them. And I'm generally kind of built like a truck. He's not particularly tall, but I'm very broad. He's a very broad-shouldered guy with fresh scar across his face, like he's been recently fighting something. And a very distinctive sunlight amulet hanging around his neck, which seems really out of place given that everything else I'm wearing is all torn up, tattered, road weary, etc. But then there's just this one really nice gold necklace that kind of immediately would jump out at you as being that. You probably shouldn't have that. Who do you steal it from, maybe?
And what does Will see when he sees Fix?
I see a very wet figure running towards you with a very tattered cloak billowing behind them. One hand outstretched towards you as if to pacify you, whilst glancing behind to see if anything is catching up to us. So hopefully you are aware that I'm not a threat to you at this point. I'm tall, 6 foot. You see a tiefling, long horns at the top of the head. We're very covered up, both hands completely shrouded. You can't really see, make out any details whatsoever apart from just dark cloak, no shape, nothing whatsoever. And as I run towards you, I'm trying to communicate something to you.
I turn around expecting to be chased by undeads, and instead I have what appears to be a devil running at me with horns coming out of her head. So I will sink into like a low defensive stance with the shield up and the sword kind of pointed over, like getting ready to impale her if she gets within range. And I'm just gonna yell, "What are you doing here?" Like angrily snarling at her.
I could ask the same thing to you. Do you know that person on the hill?
I've not the faintest. I'm gonna look over her shoulder to see if we're being followed by the things that were behind her a minute ago.
They are moving, but they're moving so slowly that they're not really an issue for you right now.
Right. I have no idea who that is. I'm searching for someone else. And a missing girl.
Who are you talking to?
If I knew, I would tell you.
So you don't know?
No, some nameless prick who just threatened me, and if I can catch him, I'll take his head. But we should move. We have bigger problems.
I agree. Keep moving.
And the two of you are heading towards the area where you Fix saw a person run, and you will suspect they went, as in north.
Yeah,
You're
I'm
also both
gonna...
quite aware that the mist is north of you. Getting this close to it is pretty dangerous, but you're not in it yet. Although, much like with fog, you're not always sure where. It's not like there's a barrier and a line. You wouldn't really necessarily know when you're in it, but you can tell that you're not. You maybe can even see it. It's a relatively dark evening. It's only around 6 in the evening, but it's dark. There is no moonlight for you. Both of you give me another set of perception checks then. See if you can spot this fellow.
We are not very perceptive.
Seven from Will.
That's a 4 and a 3.
Oh, a
I don't
4 and
know
a 3. Never mind, my thing didn't update. A 4 and a 3. Yeah, you don't see this figure. And you begin to move forward again. Back on the road, Fire and Murlin. You, Fire, have dispatched of the 2 skeletons easily enough. What do you do next? There are 3 skeletons that have moved off and shambled away north of where you are. 2 figures that ran at full speed directly north.
I'll go sneak back to Murlin.
So, hey, what's the plan? What's the plan for you? Are we gonna follow them?
That's up to you, I guess. You're the one with the gold.
Well, maybe they're heading to a village that could be nearby. I haven't really left the tree. I haven't really gone out much. So.
You don't say.
Yeah. This is just purely my suggestion, but I would think, maybe following them might not be such a bad idea.
Okay.
Not unless you know the way, of course. I'm just gonna be holding on to your cloak.
If you want to follow them, we can follow them.
Yeah, I think we should. I think
Okay.
that's a good idea.
Do you think you can stay quiet?
That I can't make a promise. Because
I don't know why I
this
asked
is the
anymore.
most communication I've ever had with somebody else. Most of the times I'm just making squeaking, it's squeak, 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 and squeak, squeak. It may not sound different to you, but every little pitch makes the difference.
I just clasp my hand over Merlin's mouth and start walking forward.
Yeah, roll me stealth checks, both of you. There's a 6 from Merlin and a 28 from
That's
Fire.
a 6. Oh my.
So you can assume that he's still speaking.
It's just.
As you begin to
And then
move
there was that time that
back to the area where the other 2 are. Will and Fix. You guys start moving towards the area where you assume this person to be. This person that seems to have set a trap for you, Will. And as you move closer and closer to where the edge of this mist is, yes, go on.
I would like to not move too much closer because I don't know who this guy is, and if I've already lost sight of him, I don't want to chase him into the mist. He's not my mission.
Do you express that and stop?
Yes. Well, after if we failed our perceptions and we've completely lost track of this guy,
Yep.
I'm just going to put my arm out in front of Fix and say we really shouldn't go any further.
What did he say to you?
He told me to quit following him, but I don't even know who he is.
This doesn't make any sense.
Nor do I know who you are.
Don't worry about that.
Okay, I've just had 5 monsters jump up from the ground and a she-devil comes sprinting at me in the middle of the night.
She-devil?
Yes. What are you doing here and why are you following me?
What are you doing here? I'm not following you.
Him then?
A coincidence.
Maybe. I'm looking for a missing girl.
You're not the only person who can cross a road.
I'm going to hold up the flyer for Garrow's. I don't know if the whole group can see this or not, but I'm just gonna hold up the flyer and say, I'm looking for this man and a girl that he took.
I reach out with my right hand, keeping a distance, and take the flyer.
Have you seen him? That's the one I'm following, not whoever this guy is. And somehow I doubt this Fletcher Arrowsmith is able to raise the dead.
Who is the girl?
Her name's Raina. She was taken from Grant's Refuge.
Grant's Refuge. She human?
Yes.
Interesting. And why are you heading to Cole?
People back in Oakersport told me they saw someone matching this description heading north. It's really the only landmark around here. Don't know where else. I don't know where else they'd want to go, really.
And what
Figured I'd
interest is
try.
this to you?
I think before we get too much further into my motivations, you at least owe me your name.
Fix. And yourself?
Willett and Ortis. Just call me Will.
A pleasure. I suggest
We
we
wanna
keep
call
moving
it
towards
that.
Cole.
Agreed. There'll be inns and taverns there, and I need to ask around if anyone else has seen this fellow. Any idea who our mystery guest was?
At this point, I'd rather not know. Perhaps you should keep a better eye out for traps this time.
Does she have visible weapons or armor on her person? Like, does she look physically imposing?
Do they?
Yeah, I'm asking
no.
you, Leah.
I have a, you can see a buck tucked away on my side sash, but otherwise I have no visible weapons.
Alright. Let's go.
Give me perception checks again.
Lost track of it. There it is.
21 and the 13, both passes. You hear the sound of one of those shambling skeletons that you lost. It seemed like they were moving away from where you are, but you can hear it now moving up from the south where you came from. It's kind of a noise. There's definitely one directly in front of you, but it's just outside of your vision.
If we leave
not
it will
gonna-
only hurt somebody else on the road.
Yeah, I'm not gonna respond to her other than to just go like this. And then just, like, walk towards the source of the sound with a weapon ready to go. Kill
Yeah.
the skeleton.
Fire, you have stopped. You've seen these two figures who seem to be involved in a conversation, and then suddenly they turn towards you as Murlin continues to talk like this.
I just remove my
And
hand.
then there was and then there was that one time, that I got into a tussle with a squirrel.
And I just don't even look. I just shove Murlin as hard as I can. Just
Yeah.
palm to chest, shove
Wow.
Fix
And I take
Will,
out my
you suddenly
weapon.
realize this skeleton is speaking, and it's probably someone. You then make out two figures. One of them taller, much taller than the other one. And as you take a few more steps forward, you can see that the taller figure is pulling a weapon out. What do they see when they see you, Fire? And also, there's a smaller figure stumbling backwards. What do they see when they see Murlin starting with Fire, please?
With me, they see a shadow elf with lavender skin and glowing white eyes, completely roguified, black hood, dark clothes, very well hidden. And she just has a dagger out and is just staring at you, waiting.
If you're here to kill me, you're gonna have to get in line. Actually, how far away are they? Are we able to
They're
talk easily?
pretty close at this point, I think.
Okay, yeah.
Everybody here has dark vision, so with the darkness overhead and the lack of moonlight, I think you're all kind of working with greys and browns hues mostly. But you can see quite far. Each of you, I think, can see 60 feet away, so we can assume that you're within 60 feet. It's very foggy, which may or may not be an element of the mist, but it's still, there's another element that impedes your vision slightly. So they're probably relatively close. They can certainly hear you. Apart from the rainfall, there is almost no sound whatsoever, so speaking is easily heard.
I'm not here to kill you, unless you're here to do harm. I'm protecting someone, and I just motion back to Murlin.
I'm
gonna
picking myself up and brushing off the dirt.
I'm just gonna quietly whisper to Fix and say, "Have you seen these two before?"
I don't recall. Identify yourself.
I'm a bodyguard, and this is my cargo.
Hi, I'm Murlin. It's so nice.
Murlin casts a spell.
I would say you'll get used to it, but I don't think you will.
Sorry, that one came out by accident.
What are you doing here?
Sometimes Murlin just speaks animal and expects that we can understand. We cannot, Murlin.
That was a conversation I once had with a toad. Oh, sorry. I get nervous. This is the first time I've had this much contact. Well, other than with something smaller than myself.
Did you see the man on the hill?
Did we?
You did not know.
No.
What are you doing
No.
out here?
I'm leading this one.
Why? Where are you going?
Money. Murlin. You love to talk. Take over.
Right. Well, when you put me in the spotlight like that,
Have either of you seen this man? I'm just gonna hold the
Oh.
I'm gonna interrupt them and just hold up the same flyer with the picture on it. Have you seen this man? Last seen heading north, probably in the vicinity of Cull somewhere.
No.
No, but is he your stepbrother?
No, he's not.
Okay, so why are you looking for this man?
He's believed to have kidnapped a girl from a town called Grant's Refuge south of here. I was hired to bring her back.
Oh, all right. Well, that can't be good.
No, it can't.
I'm on a job where I would help. For money.
I appreciate the sentiment. Yeah. Can I look back and see? There are still 3 skeletons lurking around, and we haven't really moved that far, right? So I'm just gonna look back.
There are 3 that seem to have wandered off. There are 2 downed ones closer to the road, but you're probably a bit too far away to notice that. The 3 that have wandered off, you don't have any eyes on. It's not completely uncommon to just find a skeleton wandering this close to the mist. But the 3 that have wandered off don't seem to be tracking you anymore. You don't see them, at least. They're outside of your roughly, 40 feet of vision at the moment.
Right. Well, if you're heading west to south, I'd advise you be careful. It seems the dead have taken up a nasty habit of walking around and biting people.
Thanks for the tip.
If you don't mind my asking, why are you so far north? We're really close to... And I'll just kind of gesture to the border where the mist starts to get really thick. Kind of the no man's land, and point right there and say, we're really close to... You must be looking for something too to come all this way.
I'm on a job.
I'll just gesture to Murlin instead then. Alright, so why'd you drag your bodyguard this far north?
I just wanted to get the heck out of there. Where possibly came from, I was being exiled. Let's just say I got into a lot of trouble, and I just got to get far as possible, and we ended up here.
I'm sorry, get out of there? Where is there?
We're not exactly acquaintances just yet. I ain't gonna tell you all my business.
Wow, good
Okay.
job, Murlin.
Thank you,
I've-
Fire. I'm learning the best from you. You gotta be
Fair enough.
snappy when you need to be. But I'm gonna just, go behind you now, because he's got that big sword.
It's fine.
Strange fellow.
Pays well.
I'll
if you
put
don't
the
mind.
sword away at this point, since it looks like we're not going to kill each other in the first session.
Yeah.
That's probably good.
I'll put my dagger away then too.
So gnomes are quite rare to see. They're very there is no gnome homeland or anything like that. They're quite a rare folk that you usually only find in the deep of forests, or maybe there are deep gnomes and rock gnomes that are in the mountainsides, just so you're aware in general. Also, shadow elves or the drow come from the very far south, and they mostly keep to their own kingdom, much like the tieflings in the opposite end of the map. And they're very militant usually. Any on the outside of their own homeland are quite often mercenaries, so that makes sense, I think, for you all. However, can everyone roll me an insight check? (19, 18, 10).
My rolls.
I also rolled a 10. I don't know if it showed.
Okay. And then if Murlin and Will could roll me a deception check as well.
16.
16. So
10.
a 10. A 10 and a 10 and a 16. So I think those of you that rolled the 19 and the 18, fire, fix, and that's it actually. You two get the sense that, I don't know if Murlin has explained it to you, Fire, but you get the sense that what Will was saying about why he's here and what Murlin was saying about why he's here, it wasn't entirely truthful. They seem to be holding some information back. It's not necessarily like they're lying through their teeth like a villain. But they're certainly playing their cards close to their chest. And Will, I think, you don't get that sense from Murlin with your 10s, unfortunately. He begins to put his swords away though, and I think, or his sword, and does the group start moving back towards the road together?
I would imagine. So I would.
At least
I would
for
immediately
now,
follow.
yeah. It sounded like they were heading west and we were heading east? Question mark? Or are we heading the same way?
I think you're all heading the same way.
Okay.
Right, Merlin? You're leading the other. You're leading
Yes.
you and Fire. Where were you headed? I can bring us over to the actual map. if
Okay,
I,
that would be great.
Oh wait, we're already on the map. So you guys are in the very northern end of the realms here. Up in the top right, you'll see that there's a circle token. That's where you guys are roughly. You're probably at the most northern end of the hex there, just outside the village of Col. You would have probably just recently crossed that river that's running there, Col being tucked away a little behind a mountainside. But you can see it. You can see the village lights, or you could from the road. I think the forest begins to get a little thick up here, the mist as well. And you have come all the way from the very south, Fire and Murlin, and Will and Fix came from a place called Grant's Refuge, which is pretty much here, just to the east of Oker's Port, between there and Kira. Roughly the same kind of travel time, but you find yourselves all on the edge of Cole. There's not very much else out here. You may have passed the keep. There is a militant keep there, which is called Mirren's Keep. It's a keep that belongs to Guardia and the Guardian military. Other than that, like, it doesn't, no one can visit it or anything like that. It's just, you're either a military personnel or you're not. It's a very small castle keep that is just a station for the military should they need to mobilize in some way. For the most part, and I think, Will, you'd be privy to this information more than anyone else, everyone's in the wrong space. I've just realized on the overlay, but that's fine. I'll deal with it in a second. For the most part, the military are really inactive in this area. It's so close to the mist. This is just a farming area. Farming isn't great because of the darkness. There are carrots and mint that you maybe would know of that come from this area, and the only interest the military would have in it is maybe that. But it's kind of an out-of-the-way place that you all find yourselves, and I doubt any of you will have been here before. So I assume you're heading to Cole, essentially, all of you.
Yeah,
I would think so.
Not really anything else around.
Yeah, in absence of anyone else having anything to say, Will is just back to follow the mission that he's currently working on. So I'm going to Cole and just kind of occasionally looking back to make sure the other three are all following.
Yeah, I'll try to keep some distance. I want Murlin and I together and to keep a little bit of distance between the others.
I am stalking off down the road as fast as I can.
Okay. If everyone could provide me with perception checks again, that would be great.
There's the 20.
There it is.
Oh my god. 3.
13 from Fire and a 16 from Fix. Will, Fire and Fix, you're pretty sure that the skeletons have moved off and moved away from where you are. You appear to be in a position where there is no immediate threat or danger from that. Depending on what this strange man was doing, who appeared and then ran directly north, presumably if he ran into the mist, he's already dead. It just seems to be an empty road again, the same as it maybe has been all day for most of you, just kind of walking on a lonely road here by yourselves, and doesn't seem to be any danger. However, Murlin, you do hear something very strange. As you are all heading back towards the road, you start to hear these strange kind of whispers on the wind. You sense that something is behind you for a moment. Murlin may be trailing behind the others, turns quickly to look behind, but you don't see anything there. The others, you don't hear any whispering.
Would I notice Merlin's reaction? I imagine I'm kind of always keeping an eye.
I would imagine so, Murlin, depending on how you react.
Yeah, I'm probably trying my absolute best to stay quiet, and it is a struggle, let me tell you, okay? It is a struggle to stay quiet. But I'm hearing shit, and so I guess I'm moving a little closer to Fire, and she can probably start to feel me shake a little bit, probably shaking like a shivering little puppy.
Are you okay? What's happening? Are you cold again?
No, I think there's something out there.
Well, there definitely is something out there.
Like following us. I don't know. I'm hearing things.
Get ahead
Voices. Of me. Okay. And I inch ahead of Fire.
I'll turn around and I'm walking backwards with Murlin like in front of me, and I have my hand on Murlin and I'm facing the direction that Murlin said something's there, and I'm just keeping an eye out for a little bit. Just quickly glancing, making sure there's not actually something following.
It's for sure not.
Okay, yeah, I imagine that this has probably happened 100 times. There's something there, and then I go, no, there's not, and then we move on.
Yeah.
And I'll just go...
There's 100% nothing there. By the time she turns to speak to you again, Murlin, the whispers have stopped.
There's nothing there.
Oh. Oh, just like that, you make it all better, Fire.
It's my job.
Thank you. I'm hungry.
Okay. I'll start digging through my pack and grab some food and just start handing it over.
Yeah. The four of you continue onwards. You head towards the lights of the town up ahead. I think it probably takes you about 45 minutes to an hour of walking along. I'd say probably mostly in an awkward silence, aside from Merlin's mumblings, which all seem to be quite...
As I'm eating.
Right, yeah.
I'm
crumbs
talking in
falling
between. I'm eating, yeah.
into his beard, and with Thix sort of shooting glances over at Fire shooting glances over at Will shooting glances at Merlin not looking at anyone, Fire looking at Thix, just a few kind of wary glances, but no one really pulls anything or does anything strange. Eventually you come up on this town, which is a relatively sort of dour looking place, but is at least a source of safety. As you approach, you can see that they have a very basic kind of wall that runs around the edge of the town, just made of wood, like a palisade wall. You can see that the road goes from being a muddied thing to a thing made of cobblestone, and most of the lights on the houses are on. You also hear in the distance some noise, a commotion of sorts, but the type of noise that you might hear from a tavern. It sounds like it's coming from somewhere towards the very center of town. As you arrive at Cull, you can walk into this town openly. There are no guards that sit blocking your path or anything like that. It just seems like you're allowed in, and you all move into what is a relatively run-down place. It isn't a beautiful thing by any stretch of the imagination. It's a farmer's village. There are not many people around at all. You might see one woman scurry into a house and close the door, and then a shuttered window kind of open a little as she peers at these strangers entering town. The darkness is abated only by a few lights from windows. There are no street lights or anything like that, although there are a few fires that you can see going. And as you move down the central road, it curves to the left to reveal a much larger looking building that is not the most beautiful looking establishment or anything, but is at least certainly a tavern of sorts that you can recognize as you approach Carl. It doesn't seem like anything is this doesn't seem like a merchant's village or anything like that. You get the sense that this probably has a market or a bazaar that runs during the day, but it seems after hours now. You're approaching 7 p.m. It's unlikely that anyone's still selling things, and the only place that you would likely go is the tavern or the inn, which lies ahead of you. Run-down, two-story looking thing in the darkness. Most people avoiding you. Where are you guys going, and what are you doing first once you get here?
Did you say there was no guards or anything posted at the front gate?
No guards at the front gate.
Yeah, I'm just that's the first thing that's gonna happen. I'm gonna stop there and say, this place is a sitting duck.
Nobody around to even watch.
I am still hungry.
Let's get you dry and get you some food.
You'd think after what happened at Grant's Refuge, people would be taking more precautions. And then I'll just walk in.
They're on the edge of the mist. It doesn't look like they care.
You head up towards this tavern. As you get closer, you get the sense of a quiet tavern. Will, as you step up onto the first steps that run towards the open door here, there is a crooked old man with only 3 teeth, who is sitting on the steps in front of you. He cackles at you, "Ah!" and then says, "Spare a coin?"
That depends. Can you spare some answers? Have you seen this man? And I'm gonna show him the flyer.
He kind of stares at it, one of his eyes opening much wider than the other one, in a strange drunken haze, a smell of kind of ethanol and hard liquor that reeks off of his breath as he leans into you. His eyes do widen though with a sense of recognition. He says, Yep.
Can I tell if he's just saying that to get money out of me, or if there's actually like a spark of recognition here?
Yeah, give me an insight check.
How's a 5 grab you?
A 5. You can't tell. He is quite unreadable.
Right. You recognize him? You've seen this guy?
Yep. Seen him.
Around here or where? Which way?
Yep.
It's not a yes or no question.
Well, I tell you what is. Do you spare a coin?
You I get so intensely aggravated that I just have to resist the urge to immediately throttle this guy and say, that depends on how much your answers are worth. Can you give me a direction at least?
Yep.
You say we start with basically no money, right?
How much money have you each got?
Well, I think you told me we started with basically none, right?
Yeah.
Unless that's changed.
Do you... Let me see what your sheet says for you.
Okay,
hang
so
on,
we're all
it's
broke.
on this page,
Yeah.
yeah. I'll put here what you have. Under CP in the middle there. How much you got in your pocket? Right in the middle of the
sorry.
sheet, underneath attacks and spellcasting. Right at the top there are like hexagons.
Oh, right there. Okay, yep, I see it. Yeah, I'll pull out 1 copper then. But it's like offering him a nickel, but still, say, look, that's about all I've got left.
Copper goes
But
further
if I
than you
can-
think. As you pull it
Yeah.
out, it's gone from your hand and he's looking at it. He bites it with one of his 3 teeth. Ah! Right! Yep, seen him. 3 days ago.
Was he alone or with a group?
Oh, lots of them.
Which way did they head?
He points back towards the way you came and then says, No. Yes. Out of town.
Alright, and that's pretty much the only road leaving town, right?
Well, you can get out over the back. You can creep in through the big hole at the top.
Alright. Thanks.
He walks past and immediately the old man looks at you, Fix. Hey, spare a coin.
Try somebody else, beggar.
He looks extremely hurt. He glances at Fire and then looks straight over to Murlin. How's your back? My back's killing me.
I immediately hiss at him.
Oh, you speak cat. Used to have a cat.
I say nothing, and I just give him the most intense stare, like I'm ready to go rabid. And I'm ready to attack if necessary.
All right, give me an intimidation check.
Can I be standing behind Murlin just with my arms crossed?
With advantage.
That's a 12.
A 12. He doesn't seem that intimidated. But he goes back to his one coin. He flicks it up into the air, and you see it disappear into his palm as the four of you continue on, and you head into this tavern that's ahead of you.
I'm gonna double check my other pocket. You said this guy like sleight of handed that first piece out, and hold on, I didn't get pickpocketed, did I? And double check.
Yeah. You check your pocket. Your other coins are still there.
Okay.
He seems to be kind of back to humming to himself and cackling a little bit as he sits on this doorstep. You and the others step into this tavern, and it's lively in a sense. Most of the people, they're not like up and dancing and drinking and cheersing or anything, but there are more people here than you've seen so far in town. There's a few tables around. You can see that it seems mostly like town folk. You can tell that they seem to do a lot of manual labor. There's a group of men sat around one of the tables, very muddied hands, dirtied overalls, probably farmers, since that's the general trade here. You can also see a group of men that seem to be militiamen. They don't bear the same insignias that you might find on the army, the guardian symbol, but they do seem to be the only people in here that are armed, maces and short swords, nothing amazing. Sitting around a single table, you only see 5 of them. They've got leathers on, but they are mostly kind of overweight or underweight, and not necessarily of the age you might expect a strong young man to be. Most of them grayed and old looking, drinking, and it looks like they've been there for a long time with the amount of cups and plates and mugs and tankards on the table. You can see that there are a handful of other people around, families. There's only like one child running around one of the tables. There's a fellow in the corner who's wearing pretty normal clothes, but he has a very strange hat that looks a bit like a jester's hat, but it's browns, and there aren't any bells on the end, but it has that kind of 2-pronged thing coming off. And he's sitting strumming a lute, a little song playing quietly in the corner. At the bar, you can see a single barmaid, a young half-elf woman, moving back and forth, delivering things to tables. One passed out visitor, and an extremely tall human man, maybe like 7 feet, very tall, very thin, with very long hands, sliding drinks down the bar and pouring out drinks. There's a kitchen in the back. There's a hearth, a sense of warmth as soon as you walk in from the cold and the rain. But the place slows for a moment. There's a moment where everything stops because newcomers have walked in, and they all turn and look to you, and then there's some hushed whispers, and then the atmosphere returns a little more as each of you steps in, kicking your boots and looking about. What do you do?
Zero hesitation, straight to the table with the soldiers. If the others are ordering food, then they can carry on doing that, but Will is just straight over to the soldiers and kind of loudly addresses the whole group. Gentlemen, and I'll put the flyer like flat down on the table in front of them, saying, any of you seen this man? Supposedly passed through town about 3 days ago. He's wanted for the kidnapping of a girl, and I'm here looking for him.
The eldest looking one, a very rotund looking man with only a few grey hairs around his head, kind of looks up to you, rosy cheeked for a moment. There's a scowl on his face for a second before he looks down at your armor and then back up at you, and then looks at the the parchment back up at you again and says, are you from the keep?
Came from that direction, but I'm not stationed there, no.
Oh, where's stationed then?
Guardia City.
Where?
The capital, Guardia City.
Oh, fuck off. What are you doing here?
I already said, I'm looking for a girl. And this guy. And I'll just
All of us are
point
looking
back
for
to
a
the
girl,
flag.
hey, boys? They all kind of laugh.
It's a child,
All
and her
right.
parents would like her back.
Oh, how much you getting paid for that then? That's a good job. Nobles.
Yeah.
Ah. Wait, why are they hiring you?
Because no one else is dumb enough to come out this far on a wild goose chase.
Oh, you're not in the guard then, are you?
Not anymore.
All right, then, let's have a look then. He takes a look at the parchment. He doesn't recognize it. He passes it to the man to his left. He doesn't recognize it. He passes it to the other guy. He doesn't recognize it. And then finally, one of the younger looking, still probably, in his 40s, but seems to be slightly less inebriated, gets the parchment, takes a look at it, and says, that's not much of a picture to go on, is it?
The drawing itself isn't all that great, but he's got pretty distinctive features nonetheless. He's tall, he's thin, he's got that annoying goatee, looks like you wipe your backside with it.
He says, a few days ago, there was some bandits what came through.
He might have been with them.
We scared them off proper. We did. Sent them packing.
Good. Good for you. Which direction did you send them packing?
Out the gate.
Right. Did you happen to see which way they would have headed? Actually, are there any thieves' dens or anything nearby here you can think of where they would have gone to hole up if they weren't welcome in town?
Not much round here, but farms. Sometimes you'll find a little goblin, something like that. Not many bandits. Not holed up. They move around, you know.
I've been hovering behind Will this entire time, listening. And then as you talk about recognizing that man, I conjure up the image next to me of a very old-looking man, quite decrepit. The image next to me is quite... it's almost fuzzy in a way, as if the detail is kind of lacking. And I ask the same god, was this man with them?
Old man like
What
that.
the hell?
Well, they did have a tiefling with them. Weren't that old, though.
How old?
Clothes like that, though. Robe. Like a vest thing. And a collar.
How old?
Well, I don't know. Can't always tell with your lot. Not like that old, but he was still pretty old. Like, what, 60? Hey, 60? About 60.
That sound about right for what you're looking for?
Possibly. It's been a long time. I'll walk over to where the other two are.
I'll go with her and
They
pick the
shout
flyer
after
back
you.
up.
Hey,
and-
they probably went the other way. They probably went to Som's Point.
Just a waste of time.
Psalm's Point.
Yeah, they wouldn't be sticking around here. No point going the other way. They get caught in Jairus.
What's at Psalm's Point that you think would be of interest to them?
No, but it's easier to hit.
The next target?
That's right. They kind of nervously shuffle, the guards.
Right. I'll pick the flyer back up and kind of nod to them and say, thanks for the help and for your bravery. keep an eye on this town, yeah? And then I'll
I
walk to rejoin the rest of the group.
You hear them kind of talk to themselves as you walk going, what the fuck was that about? Don't know. Anyway, so I was saying, right, my wife, she's a fuck. And then they carry on talking.
Can you order your own food this time, Murlin, or do I need to again?
Oh, don't worry. I think I got it. I think I see another gnome over there, and I immediately point to the child. I'm just gonna ask what he thinks I should get. So just give me one moment, all right?
Oh.
So I immediately start walking over to this. Well, I think he's a gnome, but he's a child.
That's just a
Now,
10-year-old boy.
I
Human boy.
tap him on the shoulder. Oh my gods! I thought I was the only one.
Hello?
Oh, except you're missing a beard, like Bloomer.
Man, that's the smallest person I've ever seen. You're the smallest person I've ever seen.
Wait, why are you acting this way?
There's a woman at the table who says, don't stare, don't stare.
You're
I'm so
talking
very
to
sorry.
me like I'm crazy.
I'm so very
No,
sorry. My son, it doesn't. It's not an affliction. You're a gnome,
Oh.
yes?
Oh,
You're a gnome.
well, this just got awkward.
I hear you can
so,
climb trees like a monkey.
I immediately
Can you climb up that
bounce.
wall?
I immediately start backing away from this conversation, and then I just.
mother is like grabbing the child as well, like. We're so very sorry. We're very sorry. Look at that, dear. It's a gnome.
I run back to fire on all fours, and I'm like, I look up to her, and I'm just like, that was a mistake.
Yeah, I didn't want to say it. I kind of wanted to see how it played
You
out.
knew, and you let it happen.
I have to have fun somehow.
Can we get something to eat?
Sure.
There are a few spare, or empty tables around that you can find. There's one in the middle of everything, when you come into a place and there's just the one table in the middle of everyone that's awkward. There are a few towards the back as well.
I'd go to one towards the back.
I follow her. After that, I'm probably not gonna stay even 5 feet away from her. No.
It was a good try.
Thanks. I'm doing my best. I'm really doing my best, Fire.
Well, what do you want to eat?
Oh, well, let's see. I immediately go through my pockets to see how much money I got. Which is probably not a lot. But Fire doesn't know that. I pull out 2 pieces of copper. This is just spare change. How much do you think we can get for this?
You'd have to ask. It's kind of different everywhere. I
Oh,
don't need anything.
okay. All right.
I'll eat
I'm
my rations.
kind of just between you and me. I'm kind of used to just getting the scraps. I would eat under people's tables, even
Well, go
under their
on.
robes in very desperate situations. And it's unbelievable how they don't notice sometimes.
You have every table here. Go scurry around.
I didn't think of that. I immediately put my copper back into my pocket, and I just run around the tables on all fours, just seeing whatever I can find.
Yeah, give me an investigation check. There's loads.
14.
Apart from puddles of drink that I don't know if you quite lap up, it's up to you. I don't know quite how feral you are, but the
I am feral. I'm gonna
super
do
feral,
it.
you just drink like a dog. You're just drinking up all of the stuff on the ground. You find like a few scraps of food. For the most part, you see that it's a lot of kind of day-old vegetables,
Ew.
half-eaten carrots. You do find some nice bits of rhubarb. I don't think you've probably ever had rhubarb before, so that would be interesting for you to eat. Sweet, an interesting new taste. A lot of things here. You do find an old chicken bone. You find a piece of meat that you can't describe. You find something sticky. Do you eat that?
Oh no, definitely not going for the thing that's
Yeah,
sticky.
good, because it was phlegm. And then, yeah, you find like a lot of scraps, but none of it is good, at least to our perception.
Right. So I muster what I can, and I guess nibble on the things that still look edible, and then I immediately run back to fire on all fours, and I look to her like I just I failed my mission and I didn't find the most greatest of things, but...
Give me a Constitution saving throw.
Oh no.
Oh no.
That's a 3.
That's a 3. Oh wow. Your stomach starts like rumbling and feeling very weird. You're also a little drunk because you've mixed every type of alcohol this place sells, from licking it up off of the like wooden with like mud and hay covered floor in this really not clean establishment, and then also just eating like bits of carrot that might have been there since yesterday, and old chicken wings and anonymous meat. So you have a stomach ache at best right now. We'll see if it translates to full poison later on. And you are at best tipsy, becoming drunk. And I think, Fire, you maybe recognize that as he says it wasn't great, and then his face turns a little pale. He wobbles as he tries to stand up.
I just grab the back of your neck and just make you sit down.
Ew. Okay. Stay put. Got it. Right here on this stool.
Yep.
There is a the bar owner, or at least what appears to be the fellow that was very tall, walks over towards your table, and Fix and Will, are you at the table too, watching this all go down?
We're probably back by now. We probably finished our conversation with the militia guys and have returned.
Go to the table, or do you get your own table? I can't tell if you've given up with these two yet.
Are there other tables that are open?
There are.
Is there even an option to go somewhere
There
else?
are other tables, yeah.
No, I think out of sheer curiosity, I'd go back and sit next to these other two, if for no other reason that I can listen to what they're saying.
Oh, Fire gives you like a glare. Like
I
we're
wave
not.
excitedly at him.
Yeah, I see the glare and I absolutely don't care and just kind of sit right next to her.
Fix too.
I sort of stare quite conflictedly around and then intently at Will and follow him.
Yeah. As you guys sit down at the table, you see this very tall fellow walking over. He's in pretty standard clothing, a tunic and some trousers with some old-looking boots, but he does have an overall on, very kind of greasy-looking. As he approaches the table, he says, "Hello, it's me. I am Dennehy Gondi. I own this place. I give you food now, yes? You look hungry."
How much?
He kind of like wobbles a little bit in the way that he's standing. It doesn't seem like a sense of drunkenness. He just seems very kind of odd in his movements, his arms moving around him strangely, his legs barely able to kind of support his weight, it seems like at times. He points back over his shoulder towards the bar and says, "Mug of beer and salami stick for 1 copper piece."
Oh.
Deal of century, no?
Just
I'm
like to
sold.
Murlin.
I would love to get one of those.
Yes. This is Salam's. He points up at the roof. It's an old establishment. It's named after salami. Maybe.
I'll pass.
You ever have salami? There's no way. You probably don't even recognize the word he's saying.
I have no idea what this is, but I'm ordering it anyway.
Okay, he looks at you, Fix. 4 coming up. Welcome, sit down, sit down. You need bed for the night?
How much?
You get free bed with salami.
Oh.
You just have to say you love salami.
I love salami.
Free bed.
Murlin,
What? We get a room.
I love salami.
with salami.
Free bed.
I actually do love salami, so this is perfect. Cheers.
Free bed for you.
That's a steal deal.
Shadow Ranger want free bed? You don't want to sleep outside.
I'll sleep with Murlin.
Like that?
Oh,
Okay. 4 beers. 4 salamis coming up.
And he kind of wanders off. He looks like he's being puppeteered in the way he walks, kind of like a doll of sorts. But he wanders off, moves behind the bar, and heads into the kitchen behind. And that is where we're going to go to a short break here this evening. Thank you so much for joining us, people, viewers of the world. And here we are, established in the realm. And we'll see whether you guys do love salami after this short break. Will be about 10 minutes. If you're new to the channel, please hit follow, and we'll be here every week. There is also a giveaway next week, because that's awesome, and Wizards of the Coast were kind enough to offer us some things and stuff to give away, which we're going to do next week. So bear that in mind for next week, and we'll be back in about 10 minutes after a short break. Go grab yourselves some salami, and see you in 10. And welcome back, everybody, to Table Stories Mistlight. And the crew are sat in Salam's Tavern in the town of Kull with a young barmaid, a sort of relatively young-looking half-elf woman brings over 4 mugs of beer for you in these kind of old-looking rickety tankards, but they look pretty clean, which is at least a good sign. And then comes back a few minutes later with these 4 very strange-looking meals. And it's not really a meal, it's a stick with a bunch of meat wrapped around it. Similar to a sausage, but odd. It smells pretty good. The meat is very red looking. You might expect it to be spicy, or it comes from something odd. But it seems to be cooked. It seems to be real food, and it's a sizable thing as well. It's not like a tiny little thing. It's a pretty decent portion. The 4 plates are slammed down in front of you, including you, Fix, who didn't order one. And the barmaid kind of nods and then moves over to the table. There's the group of guards whistle her over, and she gets to taking some of their things. And you sit now in front of this salami and a mug of ale each.
I immediately from the stool peer towards the food, and I start to smell it. Would this look familiar to me? Whatever the meat, the salami is.
What check would it be? I guess you can give me a perception or an investigation check, any of you, if you want to figure out what this meat is from.
Alright, I'm gonna use
Nope, I'm just gonna bite into it.
16 on investigation from Fix, a 16 on investigation from Murlin. You take a smell, maybe Murlin is kind of doing that thing of like like a dog would do, with the nose up close to it, smelling it. Fix maybe awkwardly picking it up and taking a look. In the same way that you don't always know what's in a sausage, because it's just varying meats from varying parts of animals, this seems even more chaotic than that. You would guess that this is meat from every available animal around. But there's also a sense that there is some added spices to it, and maybe something else. You can't get the exact additional spices and ingredients, but it's certainly a mixture of any meat. Could be anything in there, but there's too many to tell from a smell. When you take a bite of it, Will, it tastes pretty great. Tastes pretty
the
good.
only thing I need to know is, does this result in a con check?
It doesn't. It doesn't. No.
Okay,
You
all right,
eat it.
perfect.
It seems like a very interesting tasting sausage. There is more than just meat in there. You can taste what seems like carrots, and then you get a sense of something green, maybe a spinach kind of taste, which is kind of odd, but there is just another element to it, as well as some strange kind of spices added to it as well, but nothing too strong, just something that seems to bring the flavors together. It's actually pretty good, I would say.
I will switch my plate and my drink with Murlin's, just out of habit. Poison check. Oop,
Oh.
switch.
Okay.
Giving me the bigger one?
Yep, that's right.
Oh, thank you, Fire. And I
You
just
can just
immediately
wait 2
start
minutes and
eating.
see if I keel over.
You do not. It's food.
I pick at it reluctantly until I
No,
then
I was
start
saying
shoveling
that.
it down.
I was saying that out loud to Fire. You can just wait and see if I keel over in the next 2 minutes.
If you pay me, I'll switch.
Oh, me?
Yeah. Need a poison checker?
Well, probably should have said that before I bit into it, and you're probably outside my price range at the moment.
Too
How
bad.
do you know whether it's poisoned?
Am I alive?
I've already eaten halfway through it. I'm still all right. I just immediately start gnawing it like it's a corn on cob. This is the first meal that's ever been prepared in front of Murlin. Okay, this is big. I usually eat stuff from the floor. All right. This is great. He's probably crying, happy
Oh,
tears.
Don't cry
You know.
again.
It's the best thing I've ever had.
Okay. Here he goes.
Is it normal that you more thoroughly inspect the food on your plate than the food on the floor?
I give him a look, and then I immediately just go back to eating food.
Take that as a note.
Is this normal behavior?
Indeed.
Hope you're being paid well.
If I wasn't, I wouldn't be here.
Sort
To
of
each their own.
begin as I eat, staring quite intensely at Will.
At least let me finish the food and then we can hash it out, because clearly we're chasing after the same people, or they at least know each other.
Fine.
This stuff's actually not that bad. How it killed me yet?
Might be biding its time.
That's a jolly thought.
Doesn't pay to be
Well, what about you
optimistic.
two, huh?
What
Oh.
about us?
Sorry. Morbid curiosity, I suppose. I don't think I've ever met a... Are you a gnome? Is that the term?
Yes, I am a gnome. What's it to
Right.
you? Are you
Okay.
on to me?
Murlin, you don't have to be snappy all the time.
On to you? I'm sorry, are you...
I'm on the run.
Have you committed some horrific crime that you should be concealing?
Well, that's should I tell him, Fire? No, I don't even know your name.
Oh, that's right. I told her I forgot to tell the other two. Willett and Ortis. Guardian Army. I'm here, well, I already showed you before. I'm looking for a guy who's apparently traveling with someone that she's looking for, too.
I usually don't tell people my name, but according to Murlin, I'm fire.
Oh, sorry. And I'm Murlin.
Seems like more trouble than it's worth traveling with this one.
We'll find out.
I am so sorry, Fire.
It's okay.
And I start drinking whatever's in the tankard, like a doggy would in his with his water bowl.
Yeah,
I
you can
take
give me
the-
a Constitution saving throw as well, actually, just to see how drunk you are.
What? Oh no! Come
On
on.
a scale of 1 to
Brad.
20,
Oh Jesus! 13.
you're 13 drunk.
Oof.
Please continue.
I take the notebook off my side and begin furiously writing notes.
Can I read any of them from where I'm sitting?
That
I
would
don't want to
be
lean in and make it obvious.
potentially
but-
between you two. First of all, are you guarding it with your hand? And second of all, what language are you writing in?
I'd be writing in common, and I am lightly guarding it, but not
If there's
hunched
any
over.
guarding, I think I would just not bother.
There's probably a flicker of a glance over towards you as you start writing from Fire, and then you can see that she gives up.
It doesn't bother me. You can tell. Yeah, as I write these notes, I'm constantly flicking glances up at Will to see if he's done, impatiently.
Oh, I'm just kind of watching Murlin with amusement now. Will is fascinated by this concept of a gnome. I've never seen one before, so I'm just kind of.
I think Merlin, as he's eating, he's taking a notice that Will's watching him, and he's giving him the look too every now and then as he's enjoying his salami, which by the way he's almost done with. He probably finishes off that last little bit, and glances over at Will's remaining piece of salami.
I'll just push it towards him. The whole plate.
And I just slowly, with my hand, pull the plate towards myself. And then I just go rapid on the piece of salami. No take backsies. And I get back to it.
I wouldn't dream of it.
The barmaid walks over to you and begins cleaning some of the plates. Who ate all of their food? Everyone.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I did.
She starts taking the plates away and says, "Did you enjoy it then?"
It was
Oh, yes.
amazing.
Oh, really
We-
though? That's all right. I can't take the rooms away from you or anything like that.
Exceeded expectations.
What can I say? We love salami.
You actually liked it.
Like is a
It
strong
was
word.
okay.
I loved it.
Oh, all right. Didn't expect that. All right. Well, do you want anything else?
Oh.
Do you normally get complaints on the food, or why
No,
is
no
it
one
such a
eats it.
shock?
No one.
Really?
No.
What do they normally eat then?
Anything else? Chicken. They get rhubarb pie. You got rhubarb pie?
I would note that you weren't really offered anything else.
Yeah, if I had known, maybe I would have. Oh. Well,
Oh, that's Dennehy for you, isn't it? Yeah, you should, well, next time. Next time you know, didn't you?
yeah.
You want another
it was
drink?
it was the only meal that came with the room.
I'll get you another round, yeah?
A salami?
No. Oh, God, no.
Oh,
You don't eat
okay.
that.
Yeah, no. I think I'm good for now.
All right. She takes some of the plates away and heads back towards the bar.
Is it possible to retroactively not enjoy something? Suddenly I don't like it so much.
What have
try
I
hard
done?
enough?
I'm sure you'll be
Oh, well.
fine.
Let's hope so. Well, it was lovely meeting the both of you. I'm pointing it. Or I'm like just looking in the direction of Murlin and Fire while I'm saying this. I'm saying, oh, it's lovely meeting you. Thanks for joining me for dinner, I suppose. But I'm heading east after this, so probably be parting ways.
Well, you
Although-
can't go.
although-
ne-
Although you never really did say why you were up here, Mr. Gnome. And I will admit, you still have my curiosity. I've been quite straightforward about my motives, so would love to hear this legendary tale of how you came to be on the run.
Oh, Fire, how much do you think I should tell them?
Everyone give me
When-
Constitution saving throws.
Oh no.
I hate you, Brad.
I got a 7.
Oh no.
That is an 8 for me.
15 from Fire. Fire, you are not quite as affected as the others. You notice that each of you, Murlin, Fix, and Will, you start to get this headache. It comes on really quickly. As you're turning from this conversation from Murlin speaking back and forth to the others, you suddenly realize this headache rising, a pounding in the center of your head. And as you turn from one to the other, there is a sudden smash as the window behind where the bar is smashes open and a horrific creature bursts through. There is screaming and terror and chaos immediately as a huge tentacle pierces through this bartender's chest. It twists quickly around him and grips at him like a snake. A second bursts through his eye socket from the back, and his body falls slack on these tentacles. This terrifying beast pulls itself through the glass. You can see the glass breaking off of its strange hide, and it's snapping wildly with a beak on the front of this very, very odd thing. This is something that none of you would ever have seen. It has the appearance of a sort of giant floating brain. It has mucus falling from this pinkish hide. There's a damp look from the rain, but there's also this kind of phlegmy substance that's falling off of it. And it's floating now several feet off of the ground in this kind of eerie, dreamlike manner. It's twisting and flicking these tentacles around. There's about 10 of them. They're fibrous, muscular things with these long black barbs that run down them, and they taper off to points at the end. The body of the bartender falls from the tentacles now, and this thing moves this bulbous head around the room, kind of looking, but it has no eyes. It seems to fixate itself towards your direction, your table, towards the back of this tavern. This headache gets worse and worse and worse. Fire, you begin to feel it now. The presence of this thing is causing you to have a headache. Please roll me initiative, each of you. And I will give you an image of what this thing kind of looks like. your mind's eye,
Oh.
this thing is floating steadily across the room towards where you are. You will be very pleased to know. I'm going to be referring to it as a grell, but you wouldn't know what it's called. It's just a monster. So, to roll initiative, you just have to click on your token and then click on the word initiative. If you haven't done it, it's all good. I will figure it out for you. I'm going to be adding for the militia that are in there on the table as well. But you will also notice that there are several people in the way of you and this creature. There is the child, which is this token, which is standing, staring at this thing that's broken through the window behind the bartender. This is the kind of fellow with the jester. These guys are the militiamen that are currently conscious enough to be able to aid you. This is the bartender, and this is the family, the parents of the child, who are currently screaming and freaking out. Will, you got a 16. Fire, you got a 16 as well. Murlin got a 10 on his initiative. Fix got a 5. And then the militia, let me roll for the militia and the grell. Militia are on a 9 and the grell is on a 15. Now, for those who are familiar with grells of any kind, this thing is 4 times the size that it should be, just so you're aware. It's very, very large and moving across the room to you, causing this horrible pounding in your brains. The very large 7-foot form of this bartender falls down. His head, with the eye socket now missing, cracks off the side of the bar, blood dripping to the ground as this thing with its tentacles begins to rise up and float somewhat towards where you guys are. The first person to react is Fire, but you can say stuff as well.
I immediately grab Murlin, and how would it work if I wanted to, like, rush Murlin? Is this a column here?
Where are we pointing? That thing? Yeah, behind that,
okay.
Yeah, would be a column.
Yeah, I want to rush Murlin and kind of just throw him behind the column there.
Merlin, are you willing to let her do this?
Yes.
Then I'll allow it, yeah. You can move your tokens to behind there. We can assume that you carried him. That is your action, though.
Yeah, I put Murlin behind, and I'll be behind it as well.
Okay. You still have a bonus action?
Can I just hide as a bonus action?
You can. You are a rogue.
Yeah.
Roll me
I'll
a
just-
stealth check.
21.
21. Nice. Brings us to Will's turn.
Oh boy. I'm gonna stand up and, against my better judgment, I'm gonna start moving towards the thing. Gonna advance to right here. And just get weapons drawn and kind of yell at the militiamen around the table and say, "Showtime, lads."
The militiamen around the table are moving, but they don't seem to be reacting with the same steel as you do. They grab at their weapons, but they're still seated. One of them is just slack-jawed and wide-eyed. The oldest man kind of shouts generally, "What the fuck is that?" And they are moving, but they're not spurred into action heroically by any means. Everyone just seems to be shocked at this horrific thing moving across the tavern towards you, which it does do. It floats ahead of you. You still
I am
doing
going
stuff?
to take. Oh yeah, I'm going to take a moment here to cast Protection from Evil and Good on myself. That spell right there.
Okay. You cast Protection from Evil and Good, which gives you a certain level of protection from aberrations, celestials, elementals, fae, fiends, and undead. And we can get to that in a second, I guess. This thing is moving across the room towards where you are, but it only really gets to here. You see its large, kind of bulbous head focused on where you are generally, but the tentacles are flying around wildly. It slows its descent as it hovers over the bar and back down towards the ground. The sounds of the people around it seem to be drawing the tentacles. You can hear the militiamen standing up. A tankard hits the ground and two of the tentacles rush and flip out towards it. But it's ending its turn there. The headache is getting worse for each of you, but there's no direct effects. Which brings us to Murlin.
Oh boy. Well, I immediately turn to fire and cast Protection from Good and Evil as well.
What does it look like when you do this?
Hold still fire. So I immediately turn to her and I put my hands on her shoulders as I'm looking very intensely into her eyes, and I'm sure she then eventually starts to feel that sense of protection. Like there's like a presence now protecting her from this, well, whatever it is, chicken brain with tentacles. I don't know. It's freaky.
That it is. Is there anything else you'd like to do?
I don't
bonus
know if
action.
Can I cast a cantrip? Minor illusion?
If it's
Possibly.
a bonus action,
Oh, yeah, I don't think it is. Yeah, no. Alright. I think as a bonus action, I'm just gonna keep, I'm gonna stay behind the pillar here. I'm just gonna hide.
okay. The militiamen, I'm going to roll a dice for them. In fact, I'll roll it so that everyone can see. If they roll over a 13, they are spurred into action. An 8, they are kind of scrambling. You can tell that they're fear-struck right now. They are shouting at each other. They're warbling. The one that's closest to the Grell is kind of fallen out of his chair here, and he's just crawling backwards across the ground, very Sarah Connor Terminator style. The eldest is standing up, but they don't react. They are horrified by this thing, which brings us to Fix.
I will move slightly to a more open space, and seeing that nobody has actually even touched it yet and is still advancing towards us, I decide to just have a quick crack at it to see if I can slow it down any, and flick my hand out and like sort of pulling motion as I throw an Eldritch Blast at it.
Okay, roll your Eldritch Blast attack roll. An 8 is a miss. I think you fire this thing. It flies wide, but how does it look when you do it?
It's almost unseen. You actually just see like a ripple through the air as it flies towards it, and assumedly just sort of like disrupts a few tentacles.
Yeah, maybe like a bottle on the bar explodes a few seconds or a second afterwards. Okay, that's your main action. You want to do anything on a bonus action or move further?
I will move a little bit further back.
Okay.
Yep.
Brings us back to the top of the round with you, Fire.
I just very quickly and harshly say to Murlin, you have two options here. We stay and fight, or we leave. Your choice.
Well, we're staying. there's too many people here, and maybe we could try and stop this thing and save him.
Fuck. Stay quiet. And I'll just lean around the column and take a shot with my short bow.
Give me that attack roll.
11.
An 11 is a miss, barely. You see the arrow fly towards this thing. It, as well as the Eldritch Blast, fly past. The arrow hitting the broken window edge and flicking out of the window. The Growl remains unharmed. What else do you do?
I will just duck back behind the column and hide again.
Okay, give me that stealth check.
18.
18. Will. You are muted.
I am indeed muted. What do you know? I am going to... I am going to do what my character would do and move closer, even though that's the worst possible idea. I'm gonna get between it and the closest civilian. So right here.
Okay.
And take a swing at it.
All right, give me that attack roll. Give your shield.
I do, yes. Shield and sword in one hand at the moment. So this 12.
12 is a hit.
Ten damage.
10 damage to the Grell. As you move closer to this thing, it becomes excited. You can tell by its tentacles lifting up. The head is most certainly following you, the beak snapping towards you. It kind of readies itself, kind of like a spider might, as it comes up with its tentacles raising up around this kind of brain-like hide that it has. And you bring this sword along, and I'd say you probably whip off one of the tentacles as you do so. It cuts through one of the tentacles really cleanly. It's like it feels like cutting through flesh, and this tentacle falls off. You can see the mucus that's running down the body is also running down this tentacle. It hits the ground, and this strange stuff flicks off of it. And give me a nature check.
Nature, there it is.
5.
A 5.
It's so gross, is what you think.
End of sentence.
Yeah.
Oh, gross.
Anything else from Will?
No, that's all I've got.
The Grell, excitable. You cut off one of its little tentacles. They're not little tentacles. And this thing kind of turns on you now. It's going to make 2 attacks towards you with the tentacles. First one, a natural 1. And the second one is a 15. What is your AC?
18.
Let's see here. Roll me a d20. Because what I like to do, dear viewer, with natural ones is roll a d20 and see if a strange consequence happens.
That is a 19 on that critical fail.
This thing brings its tentacle around in such a way that it injures itself. It cracks the tentacle on the side of the table and completely fumbles its attack against you, while the second tentacle whips out and you bring your shield up. There's kind of a gong sound as it hits this shield, and then roll me a d10.
Four.
That is how much it has injured itself for. 4 damage as it cracks its own tentacle on the table, giving you the chance to avoid the attack, signaling that attack coming in towards you. However, it's not over. The tentacles flaring up was one thing. There's still a beak rushing down towards you and snapping on a 15. Also a miss. I think maybe you duck, bring that shield up, hit the tentacle, and then this beak snap just above your head. You hear the power in the beak. You know it's going to sting if it gets you. You're going to want to avoid it. But right now, we see one of the militia guard crawling backwards, fear in his eyes. Will going toe-to-toe, bringing this very large round shield with a sigil on the front up, fighting this Grell. And it seems to have all eyes on him now, which is good for the people that are around doing nothing. Not necessarily great for Will, although he has yet to be hit. He seems very proficient, like a soldier should be. And that brings us to Murlin.
I think Murlin, what he does next is he closes his eyes and he takes a deep breath, pulling out his staff slowly, and he holds it with two hands. He kind of just taps it on the ground, and it kind of makes it creates like a spark, and the staff just begins to glow, and he casts True Strike on himself.
True Strike on himself. Okay. This is a concentration spell, which means your protection from evil and good falls.
Oh, does it fall? Ooh.
Yes.
Okay. I did not consider that. You know what? I think I immediately retract from that because I'm like, oh snap! I have a protection spell on my friend.
Well, then rewinds time.
I'm just gonna wreak havoc,
power.
and I'm just gonna do up my magic missile.
Fire a magic missile over at the Grell. Magic missiles always hit, which is the weird rule of magic missiles. I think, do you fire 3 of them? It's been a while since I've had a wizard.
Yeah, I think I do. I do fire 3. All right, so let me...
You create 3 glowing darts of magical force. Each dart hits a creature of your choice that you can see within range, which is 120 feet, and it deals force damage. So, yep, you can roll that 3 times, and it simply deals that damage to the Grell. How does this look when you do this?
I was first, casting True Strike, and then I immediately retract, and it's like, oh, okay, I guess I'm doing something else, so I immediately peer from the corner, and with my staff, I'm just like, pew, pew, pew!
Yes, and they fire across to where you are, Will. Suddenly you see these magical effects striking the Grell as if somebody's firing these small artillery shots from behind you. You get the sense that the others are firing in on this thing. The arrow that whistles past you, the bottle that explodes in front of you. They're certainly doing something, but you are up there at the moment alone. And is that the end of your turn?
Yes.
All right. Brings us to the guards. Let's see if they are able to snap out of their fear. They are. They rush suddenly to your side. This one's standing up, rushes forward with a mace. This one and this one as well. And I'm going to roll attack rolls for both of them, or all 3 of them, which is a d20. 15 hit, 14 hit, and 14 hit. And then the damage. You know what? I'm just going to roll 3d8. They deal 12 damage. So these guys suddenly rush forward. Seeing Will, it kind of, I think, rallies them, and they kind of run in. They're kind of still drunk and inebriated, and they stumble forward. There's a weak war cry from them as they're like, ah! It's definitely a war cry. They bring up their maces, and all of them just start bashing on this thing like the scene from Shaun of the Dead. And they each hit the thing. You can tell, Will, one of them hits the hide, the brain-like mucusy thing, and it seems to be very thick. Hitting this thing looks like they're hitting like a cow or something like that, a bull. As it hits the brain, you'd expect maybe it to fold in or burst. It doesn't. It's much thicker than that. As they deal this damage, the thing kind of screeches again, but still seems to be relatively focused on you. The tentacles now flailing out a little more towards the others. Bringing us to you, Fix.
Is Hex Hex a bonus action only, or is that an action?
Let's have a look. Hex. Oh, you've got it in the chat. That's nice. Let's read it. Hex. You place a curse on a creature. It is one bonus action, yes. You can see within range. Are you doing it?
Yes. You see the book that I was furiously writing and suddenly like hovering and flicking through pages, and from the pages an inky sigil sort of rises and flashes bright blue and speeds towards the creature, branding itself upon it.
So this will put a hex on the Grell, which will allow you to deal an extra 1d6 necrotic damage to the target whenever you hit it with an attack. You can also choose one ability when you cast a spell, and the target has a disadvantage on ability checks made with that ability. So that's strength, con, whiz, that stuff. Which one do you pick?
Having just seen it try and attack using bare force of its limbs, I will choose strength.
Okay, strength, hex. And that's a bonus action, so you can still use your main action.
So I will attempt to use another Eldritch Blast and flick another attack out at it.
Okay. Give me the attack roll. 24 is absolutely a hit. Yeah, give me the damage and an extra d6. Damage is, so you highlight the word Eldritch Blast in the dice rolling column on the right. It'll go red. Yes. 9, and then roll me a d6 as well. 2, so 11 total damage. This hex lands on this Grell in front of you, Will, and then suddenly you see it. It's like it's been hit by One Punch Man or something. Part of its brain, that hide that's being battered by these militiamen and their maces, suddenly folds inwards as if it's been hit by an invisible force. And you see a kind of maybe a black inky mess run off of it as well, as it actually splits part of the brain, and then all of this mucus and strange dark ichor-like blood bursts backwards out of this thing's head. It lets out another terrifying screech, but it is still flailing wildly in front of you. Is that the end of your turn, Fix?
Yes.
Brings us to fire.
Okie dokie. If I hit with my bow, I would get sneak attack, right? Because Will is there.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, then I will take a shot at it.
Bella is my co-DM, by the way. He's the encyclopedia that I need for my terrible memory of everything.
There you go.
That is a 22 a hit with the sneak attack. Grand total of 13. How do you kill it?
Ooh. Right dead center of the brain. Like where it was caved in. I just want to destroy it.
Yeah.
At its weak point.
This arrow is let loose, and it flies straight over your head, Will, but you can feel the edge of it snip off one of your hairs as this arrow dung hits this thing in the center of its head. There is a moment where it brings all of its tentacles up in front of you. It opens its beak as if to screech, and then falls forward. Roll me a dex saving throw.
I will find my saving throws in a moment.
17. You jump backwards at this enormous thing that was hovering, lands in a fleshy lump in front of you, the tentacles spilling forward, all of the militiamen jumping back as well. There's a sudden realization that there's a child crying, a couple of women screaming. There's a man that is running forward to pick up his boy, and the Grell falls dead. This enormous, strange-looking, fleshy lump sitting now on the ground in front of where all of you stand. The barmaid runs around the side of the bar and looks at the corpse of the bartender. You hear a strange sob, and then you hear one of the militiamen shout to the other one, "What the fuck is that? My fucking head hurts! Ah!" You still have a bad headache, and it continues. It's increasing. All of you.
Boy, I think I need to lie down.
I'm just checking you over, making sure you're not wounded. Are you hurt?
No, I'm okay. How do you think the others are?
I'll just lean over from behind the column and look.
You will see me just stepping back from the thing and finally untensing after that brief encounter, and then kind of turn around with a, "Hey, you guys saved me a lot of trouble there," and put the sword away.
I think they're fine.
I am stood in the middle of the room still, fists clenched, breathing quite heavily, looking panicked, but trying to keep it under control.
Anybody else got a pounding headache?
It's that fucking thing. The head of the guard, the larger, more rotund man, goes over and kicks the grell. It doesn't react. It just seems like a big pound of flesh now as he kicks it a couple times, and then he looks over towards you and says, "I'll give you a gold piece to get that thing the fuck out of here right now."
You got a deal?
All the way out of town.
I'll start dragging the thing, at least out of the room for the time being. I'll drag it over to, like, near the door.
Give me an athletics check. You can definitely do this, but it's just how easily you do it. Yeah, it's
23.
crazy. He just starts dragging this thing by one of the tentacles out of the room. It looks easy to him as he starts to do it. The guards are standing around shocked. They're each grabbing their heads. The family are holding the child. But one tentacle is left behind on the ground as Will is dragging this thing out.
I'll walk over to it.
I follow behind, cautiously.
And I'll look at the guy and say, "How much if I bring this out?"
He looks over and says, "Oh, I'll give you a gold as well. Get it the fuck out of here."
Thank you. And I just hoist it over my shoulder.
And I just look like I'm pushing it from behind, like I'm helping, but I'm really not.
Yeah.
My friend is helping.
He shakes his head at you. They begin to look around. You can hear the murmuring, the sobbing, the tears, and you hear one of the guards say, "The fuck we gonna do about Dennehy? They fucking killed him. He's bloody dead." Well, you're dragging it outside. What's the route?
No. I'm dragging it. I'm dragging it and just kind of dumping it by the door, but I'm certainly not leaving yet.
Okay.
I'll dump it by the door, but then quickly walk back over to them and has this happened before? Is this a common problem?
No. Not outside of a few orcs that come into town raiding. We've had a warg before. I don't even know what that is. What is that?
I haven't the foggiest.
You don't think that's, No, don't say that, you stupid bastard. It can't possibly be. No, you're right. I reckon it came out of the mist. No, it didn't, you stupid bastard. Nothing's come out of the mist. Nothing's come out of the mist, right? Does that come out of the mist? Did that come out of the mist? He's looking at you now, Will.
Don't know where else it could have come from, to be honest.
A fucking mist creature. Fucking knew it. I shouldn't have moved here. At all. Alright. Okay, well.
No, you shouldn't have.
Okay, right. Well, we gotta check the rest of the town then. See if there's any more of these fuckers. Okay. Alright. We'll split up. No, I don't want to split up. Yeah, I don't want to split up. We should move as a group. Yeah, we should move as a group. Alright, we'll move as a group. Okay. Alright. Come on then, boys. Get that the fuck out of my town. They start to move towards the door as well, avoiding it, grabbing at their heads.
Has the headache let up
Nope.
since it moved?
Getting worse.
Has the protection from evil spell had any effect on said headache?
Let's see.
Slow it down at all?
I think it probably... You can tell that the protection from evil and good was working, even though I shouted out the wrong shouts. It would have been the same either way, but it did affect it, but it hasn't helped enough with the headache, no. Just being around this thing seems to be giving off just a passive headache or something. It's doing something to you that's really hurting now.
Right.
Borderline, like you're heading towards a migraine. Things are getting lighter, sounds are getting louder.
I'll just scan the crowd, make sure no one else got hit by this thing, and if all of the, bystanders appear to be okay, then walk back over to the rest of the party.
We should leave right now.
Yeah, we should. I gotta get out of here. I can't.
As I said that, I literally just stalk out of the door, straight out.
Oh, whoa.
I can't focus.
Yeah,
We're all
I have
heading
as
out.
well. Yeah.
I follow closely behind.
Yeah. You guys head out into the rain that's still coming down. There's and you're dragging the thing and bringing the tentacle
Yeah,
as
I
well?
am gonna resume dragging it.
Yeah.
Just to the closest, towards the closest border of town to like haul it over a fence or out the door or wherever.
Yeah, it's
I probably just drop
the-
mine behind a
where you
tree
came
or
in.
something.
Just leave it.
Yeah, like I just put it to where they can't see it.
Okay.
If they look
you
out the door.
Toss it into like a nearby bush under a tree just outside. And Will begins dragging it. The closest border is probably where you came in, so you probably just start dragging it towards that. I would assume the gates.
Are you doing this secretly, Fire, or are you doing this like right where I can see what you're doing?
The militiamen
I'm
are
probably-
also walking out with you, but they're kind of heading north.
Oh, well, people, if they can see me, then I wouldn't have done it. But
You can probably still do it. They're like grabbing their heads and stumbling away
yeah,
from you.
I would have
wanna
just
roll
kind
it.
of nonchalantly tried to like drop it.
Alright, give me a stealth check. Or a sleight of hand, I'll allow. 11! Let's see if any of them saw you. No, not they are they're almost blind right now from
Damn.
searing pain in their heads, I would imagine, as they sort of move. They're moving towards the town. You can hear them saying, "We should check the old first." They start moving up towards somewhere north of your location as Will starts dragging this enormous thing towards the south gate. What are the others doing?
Oh, I'm. Wait, are you talking to me or her?
Them. The other. Well, you've thrown a thing in the tentacle in the bush. The other two.
Oh, if I turn around and see that she's no longer carrying it, like I wouldn't have seen her hide it because I wasn't paying attention, and if she was stealthing it, like I wouldn't even roll because I probably wouldn't have seen it. But when I see that she's not carrying it anymore, I say, "Where's the other piece? We don't know if that thing gives off poison gas or it comes back to life or where'd you put it?"
I think it ran away.
The severed tentacle ran away? Does that not...
It slithered away.
It slithered away. You're right.
Can I tell if she's just screwing with me or if it actually slithered away?
Fire can give me a persuasion check. No. A deception check. And you can give me an insight check, Will. 19. 7. She might very well be telling the truth.
Oh,
Well, it's gonna hurt somebody else. We gotta go track it down. Where did you leave it? Or which way did it go?
You know, I lost track
Hello?
of it.
What kind of bodyguard are you? I'm just gonna elbow my way past you then.
Where are you going?
To see if I can figure out where Fix went off to, because she kind of walked off alone.
Where did Fix go?
Yeah. I would have stalked off in the opposite direction to wherever you were taking that thing, trying to relieve the headache.
Okay, so you're moving kind of north of town here. Yeah, Fix is probably like behind the guards then, as they head north. You can see them moving all the way up the main road, the opposite direction.
I will chase after them to get that 1 gold piece, because we're very broke. So 1 gold is a lot of money right now.
Mm-hmm.
You can do that. Yeah, there's a dead grell that you can leave just outside the tavern, but you run off after them. For the record,
I thought you meant I threw it outside the town wall already. Is it?
Oh no, are you doing that? You've still got to drag it there if you want to do that.
Oh no, that's what I meant. Yeah, I'm dragging it.
Okay.
Towards the edge of town, 100%.
All right, so you're dragging the thing to the edge of town. Fix is moving away from the thing to try and break the headache. What is Fire and Murlin doing?
I'm going to collect my gold.
Okay, so you're also going with Fix and Murlin as well. Okay, so sticking with Will. Will, you get to the edge of town, and when you get there, there is a gentleman with a cloak who is moving up and down the area, kind of looking around strangely. He turns to you, and his cloak covering the majority of the top of his face with rain running off of it, but you can see underneath that he just appears to be what is presumably just an average human man. He says, that thing you're carrying there, what is it?
Some fetid, godforsaken nonsense creature from the mist. I don't know.
Yes. It's the source of this headache.
I'm hoping so.
Right. I'll take it off your hands then.
And do what with it exactly?
Well, that would be my business.
Right. And your business is what exactly?
Oh, precisely that. It's mine. I'll give you, well, I think I have a few silver coins here. He pulls out 4 silver coins. Well, there you go. 4 silver coins. Let me take that, no questions asked.
Are we gonna see it again?
Well, hopefully not.
Can I sense any kind of anything from this guy? Evil intent?
Give me an insight check.
Does my insight give me anything here? 17.
He's very hard to read in this rain, but he does seem odd to you. I don't think you can read anything more than just he seems off a little.
He's hard to read. You said the same thing to me when I rolled a 5.
Yeah, that's because you both rolled 17s, him and you.
Alright, you got a deal.
Right, here you go. He puts the coins in your hands. Suppose I'd better go fetch a carriage.
Yeah, I'm gonna put it over there, and I'm gonna just drag it, like, at the very least, across the street where it's less likely to be seen, and further away from the population center, and just tell him, I think it's causing headaches or something, and it's kind of killing me, so I'm gonna move it over here, and just move it across the road.
Bear it. Very well. Pleasure doing business with you. And he heads towards the area where you can see that on the edge of town there's an area where they keep like stables and carriages and carts and things. The other 3 who were heading to the north of town, or at least just heading away from the Grell, each of you roll me Constitution saving throws. 7, 6, and 2. Your headaches don't go away at all, but they don't get worse as Will drags this thing away from you. The further he gets away from you, you can tell that intense pounding is slowing down, but you still retain a really awful headache.
I'm probably at this point resting my hand on my forehead, shaking my head. And I look to Fire and Fix to see if maybe they're just as distraught and in as much pain.
As you look at me, I almost look kind of like wild right now. I'm just desperate to get away from this.
You can probably tell that Fire is uncomfortable. But she's not like retching in pain or anything. She's probably trying to hide it.
The guardsmen are
get
like
that gold.
moving away from you, by the way.
Mm.
They're like not quite near you. You'd have to run after them.
I'm gonna just shout. Leaving without payment?
You get rid of it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. He flicks a gold coin towards you and then says, yeah, give that one to the other one, and flicks the second one towards you as well.
Okay. I'll say, what about my friend? I'll just point to Murlin.
All right. And then he turns around and continues walking with the other two.
Worth a shot.
What? I did my best.
I turn to you and hold my hand out and say, I can give it to him.
Okay. I give it to you. I just pocket the other one.
I turn to see if we can see Will behind us on the street.
Will. You heading back towards them?
If I can figure out which direction they went, yes.
Yeah, I think you can probably see them. They're like way up the street, twisting and turning.
Yeah, I'm heading to rejoin them, and I'm
You can hear the fellow that you
wiping
met.
slime and goo off of my hands.
Yeah. As you're walking towards where they are, there is a very strange sensation that comes over you as you see them, but even more immediately, you see yourself. There is a strange ghostly form standing next to a woman. The woman is very muscular and thick built. At a guess, you'd say she's maybe one of the tribal folk that live with furs on their bodies and things like that. You can see that you have your long sword in your hands. She has a very, very large claymore sword held in two hands. And it seems as if you're in kind of a combat with these invisible foes. You can't make them out, but you can see yourself very clearly and this other woman relatively clearly. Standing halfway between where you are and the other group are as you see them turning towards you. You can see this ghostly version of yourself bring a sword down on an invisible foe, but it leaves you open to an attack from another that you can see from this position. The tribal woman suddenly jumps to your aid and you see her run through with something. You can't tell what it is, but her blood spills to the ground, and then the vision fades away in a fog and mist as you see Fix walking towards where you are. And that is where we're going to end our first session for today. Thank you so much for playing, players, and watching, watchers. That is Mistlight. Session 1 concluded. Thank you so much for joining us.
Oh my god. What the fuck, Brad?
Thank you so much for playing.
What the hell?
Yes, much to come in the following weeks. That's the first session. We'll be here every week on Thursdays at 9 p.m. UK time, which is 4 Eastern, and I don't know what that is anywhere else in the world because Eastern is the only one I can do the thing for. Thank you so much for playing, players. First session down. Shake it out. Breathe. You survived the Grell. I figured that you would. You're a really strong composition for like one-on-one things, really. You know, you lot can just, in theory, you can just obliterate through strong individual creatures. But, you know, it could have gone horribly wrong. I was actively trying to kill you, Fairlight. Sorry.
I know.
I was like, I'll see what I can do with this Grell, but I wasn't sure. Yeah, I feel like we've laid a lot of groundwork for the upcoming campaign. We're going to do a round of shout outs here so that people that are watching can find out where they can come and badger you and question you on your character and things and stuff, or just watch you do whatever it is that you do. Presumably stream on Twitch. And we'll do a round table starting with you, Fairlight. Where can people find you and what do you do and things and when?
Sure. You can find me at twitch.tv/Fairlight_Excalibur, which I'm live pretty much every day. I follow the vampire schedule philosophy, so you'll find me late in the evenings US time, around 9 p.m. Pacific, and playing pretty much everything, but mainly nerd stuff.
Nerd stuff. Who's next on my overlay? Leah.
Hello. You can find me at twitch.tv/Leah, Leah, or Leah Viathan, like Leviathan, but with Leah instead, on Twitter and Instagram. And yeah, I stream a variety of things almost every day, evening time, British time.
Thanks, Leah. What about you, Brutal Brian?
I'm Brutal Bree. Brad calls me Brian because he is a horrible human being.
That's true.
You can find me, Brutal Bree, essentially everywhere. I stream on Twitch Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
And also, Brian is going to be doing a sort of recovery room or an after show thing tomorrow night on her channel. So if you want to watch, we're calling it After Dusk, Mistlight After Dusk. It's just going to be a breakdown and a chat and a discussion. So if you want more talks and things and stuff, hopefully over the coming weeks and months and years, hundreds of years of this campaign, we will guest and join, and we can go and talk to you about it, and we'll grab each of these losers in as well, and we'll get some random people in, and you'll be generally just discussing things, everything about it, the story, the music, all of the production, everything is the plan. And that will be tomorrow night at what time?
6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Mistlight After Dusk, and that is on Brutal Bri's channel. So make sure that you head over there and follow that one just to get that. Those of you that are Table Story regulars understand the kind of recovery room thing for the shows. So that's kind of what that is. And you can join her over there. But if you don't want to watch that, because why would you? You can watch Disbiarix as well. What do you do and where and when?
Hi, Disbiarix. You can find me on Twitch and Twitter, same handle, Disbiarix. I've been playing a lot of GTA roleplay over on NoPixel, and it's been a lot of fun. I'm so happy to be back here in another Brad campaign. I'm sorry, Brad. Beard. I had to bring back another beard. I am an old man again, and it feels good.
Well, you're very different though. I really like the feral. I like that you're a dog, kinda. You're
Me
just
too.
you're like a strangely intelligent spellcasting dog for the party, which I think is just amazing. It's always so weird, right? That first session when you know your character on paper and you have all the words and stuff, but now at the end of it, I wonder how different your characters feel from the beginning, or what you intended, or whether there's a lot of stuff like that that is always strange. And I was very curious about the decisions that you would make, because there were obviously very different ways that you could have gone through this. I wasn't sure if you guys were all just going to run into the mist, by the way, at the beginning of this. I'm glad that you didn't, in the sense of it's pretty rough, and that's all I'll say about that. The first session was great. Thank you so much again. You all killed it.
Thank you, guys.
You all killed it. I feel like I didn't have to do anything, which is so nice from my side of things, to just be able to, at any point, just sit back and enjoy you guys just role playing it out, which is super fun. So I'm super into it. I'm super into watching these characters. I stream as well every day, but no one cares about that on Brad Woto. We vote for games, and the only reason I'm mentioning this is tomorrow I'm starting Ride to Hell Fairlight, which was Fairlight's choice. My chat picks the game on a vote that I play. I never pick it. And this week, Fairlight was... Sometimes I'll ask other streamers to suggest games for the thing, and he chose this meme game. I swear to God, I don't even know what it is, Fairlight. I haven't even installed it yet, so I don't know what it's going to be.
I'm sorry to your viewers.
Oh. From what I understand, it is borderline
But
TOS
to you, this
breaking.
is just payback for the many times you've memed me in these campaigns.
Yeah, I literally have an emote in my channel that is Brad Fairbless, which is your face, which I'm hoping comes up, and maybe it has. I didn't really get to see chat tonight. Whenever you do stuff where you need to save the day, I want to see Brad Fairblesses, which I guess means you have to subscribe to my channel. What a shame. All right. Also, go and subscribe to everybody here. Make sure you go and badger them in the week. Go and follow all of their socials and things. Question them on the campaign. Watch their glorious content. They're all wonderful people. And you can follow here for more table story content. We do shows throughout the week. They're on and off. You'll just have to keep an eye on our schedule. At the moment, we do have another D&D campaign running, which is Rime of the Frost Maiden, which is on Fridays. And we have a show called Witchcraft and Wizardry, which is kind of a Harry Potter-based show. And everyone in it is American or Canadian, I think. Oh, no, they're not. There's a Scotsman in there. Represent. Yes, we will be back next week. Thank you for watching. Remember, there will be a giveaway next week. Thank you, Wizards of the Coast, for promoting this and also allowing for a giveaway. So we'll sort that out next week if you want to try and win something special. It's a real life grail. Sorry, I spoiled it. It's a real life grail.
Oh, God.
Oh, no. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. And thank you so much for playing, players. We'll see you next week. Episode 1 down. Peace. Bye.
Bye.